And somewhere between one heartbeat and the next, a quieter rhythm has already begun to play. You notice it sometimes in the pause between thoughts, that small hum that isn't silence, but the sound of everything agreeing. Imagine this. Light isn't only above you, it's inside your cells. Each one a tiny sun remembering how to shine. Every choice, every breath is a frequency adjustment. When you choose kindness, the wavelength lengthens. When you choose fear, it shrinks into static. That's not punishment, it's feedback. The universe's way of saying, try tuning a little finer. And while you're thinking about that tuning, something interesting begins to happen. Because to tune in, you must also relax out. The moment you release the grip on explanation, understanding slips into your hand like water you no longer chase. Take any single leaf, trace its veins outward, and you meet the tree. Trace the tree's root downward, and you meet the soil. Follow the soil to the river to the sea, and before you know it, you've circled back to the cloud that rained the water that fed the leaf. Everything relates. Separation is just labelling halfway through the circle. Now chunk that up. If one leaf can contain the sky, what might one human heart contain when it remembers? It's built from stardust that never learned the word apart. When people act from this remembering, villages reorganize around cooperation instead of comparison. Artists stop competing for attention and start composing harmony. Even economics changes. Value begins to orbit around contribution. That's the benefit path, the probable future that opens when consciousness catches itself caring. And the side effect of ignoring that call. Nothing dramatic, just the slow ache of unused capacity. The way an unattended instrument still makes sound, but never quite sings. You don't need robes, incense, or long words. Play is enough. Every time you follow a hunch that feels both silly and right, you're flexing your intuitive circuitry. When you notice coincidence and grin instead of explaining it away, you're performing a frequency upgrade disguised as amusement. It's supposed to be fun. Evolution always hides progress in joy. Focus alters neural firing. Repetition rewires networks. Emotion floods those networks with neurochemistry that either prune or fortify connections. So each time you choose a loving interpretation, you're physically sculpting your brain to notice more of what helps and less of what harms. What mystics call activation. It's biology celebrating awareness. So perhaps, as you hear these words now, some part of you is already finding its own way of translating them, not as commands, but as permission to be curious, to explore what happens when you assume you already have what you once thought you needed to seek. Maybe you'll look at your hand later today and realize that every fingertip is both receiver and transmitter. That the same spark that built galaxies also animates the gesture you use to wave hello. That realization tends to linger, and when it lingers, behaviour naturally catches up. Picture yourself as a lighthouse again, not trying to rescue ships, just doing what lighthouses do, shining because that's the simplest thing in the world for them. Ships navigate better. Storms look different. No preaching, no proving. Just illumination happening because illumination is your nature. And while the mind tries to decide whether this story is literal or symbolic, the heart quietly understands it's both. Because the heart was always the radio. And every time it beats, it broadcasts the same ancient message. Remember, you're the pulse beneath everything.